Toastmaster Anushka. Toastmaster Anushka, Monsters. Monsters, Toastmaster Anushka.
Good morning. Good morning. Great, I had some energy there. So let's start from the beginning. I mean, way back in the beginning. 4.6 years ago, Earth did not exist. We just had cosmic dust and solar nebula. After which, there came inorganic substances, which later turned into amino acids. I'm going to ramble about the chemical aspect of everything. And then came archaebacteria, which was mainly anaerobic. And I have to mention that this mutated into cyanobacteria, and this was huge for biology, right? Because oxygen was provided. Now, oxygen explored different pathways among mutations, which is how we got aquatic life. And that is why the aquatic life back then was much huge and bigger than what we know right now. In fact, I don't think people realize how ancient creatures were. The bowhead whale existed before Saturn's rings had formed. That's how ancient it was. That's how historical it is. Which slowly turned into reptiles because they wanted less competition and wanted more predators also to compete with on land. And so there was biodiversity. Here and there, there came reptiles, there came stem reptiles, there came stem mammalians. Stem mammalians, for who don't have any idea, they are creatures that lay eggs but have teeth such as mammals. And from here on, rest is a history, right? Because now we're here, we're Homo sapiens, but we had few competitors, which I'm pretty sure people are aware of. Everyone is aware of Neanderthals,
Yes.
right? We had Homo erectus, and these are of the same species called hominids. And with hominids, we share chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, and other extinct hominids. Now we have to remember that we're 4 species ahead of other hominids that we know of, which is why we try to destructure these monsters that we're not aware of. We try to figure everything out because we need to have a clarity upon everything, right? And so we thought we were smarter than other species, and so we told ourselves, let's help them out. Has anyone heard of Kanzi?
What?
Kanzi.
No.
No. Kanzi is a bonono. He is a species, it comes under the classification of orangutans, but not quite. Yeah. He is the first great ape to be able to communicate with humans with sign language. In fact, the only thing that is stopping him from speaking is that he's unable to use his vocal cords in a way that we can understand him. He knows over 3,000 plus 400 sign languages. And what we forget to understand is that normally for anyone who does coding, we understand how important syntax is, right? For Kanzi, he's so smart that he does not need a syntax. If I feed into a computer saying, what eat today, it might not understand. But if I say that to you, you will understand the meaning of the intention of what I'm trying to say. It's the same with Kanzi. He's smart enough to understand what we're trying to say, even though we don't put it in a way that he has been taught. But we forget that these animals also have intuition and emotions. Kanzi was chosen for a science experiment to be understood by humans and to be figured out. But Kanzi ended up feeling so alone and lonely that he tried to impart knowledge, this sign language that he learned from humans, to his son and his adopted brother, adopted because they gave him a brother, and succeeded in doing so. You realize how something that we have taught, something that we've imposed upon animals can have such a deficient effect on them. I'm not saying that we should not try to understand animals, but there's a certain limit to it. In fact, animal cruelty is only the boundary of where and what we choose to do with these animals. We might not torture them physically, but they do have emotional boundaries. There was a recent experiment done on a bat, because as we know, humans use fats and carbohydrates to burn energy and use their calories. Bats, however, if you notice them, they do not have fat on them. and they use their wings, but they're fully capable of running. And so they conducted an experiment where they wanted to see where these bats get their energy from and how fast they can produce it and utilize it. Which is why they used several 25,000 species of different bats and decided that they were going to put them on a treadmill for about 10 hours and providing continuous cow's milk, which was instantly, almost within 5 seconds, synthesized and used as energy form. After starvation, of course, just to mention. So what gives us the authority to do all of this with these animals? Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I explained everything to you in the start is to show you that life did not start. Life happens. Life is a cycle. A human egg is provided in the mother's womb even before the woman is born. It is formed in the fetus. Life does not start from a certain age or certain weeks or when the heart is formed. It happens inorganically to organically from one form to another. We do not have the authority or the choice to decide what to do with it. So when you look at animals, when you look at plants, let's treat them differently because there's a lot that we do not know about them. There's a lot that we're trying to figure out. In fact, the ancient creatures that I talked about in the start might still be present today in the deep sea because they're staying far away from human interaction. And also because they need those conditions like pressure and temperature in order to survive. But good for them. Really, let's think about how we impact the environment, how we look at the things that are around us, how many creatures and life forms we take for granted. Thank you.